Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Morning Leap session for Wednesday, September the 19th, 2018. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses. Our hypotheses are our trade plans. We do create multiple trade plans. We do not try to predict what the market's going to do. We put a plan in place for whoever takes control of the market, and then we wait for the market to open, see who that is in control, and then execute the plan that best suits the market, and then adjust the plan as the market gives us clues during the course of the trading day. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website. There's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go-to, and then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the trading day. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So take a look at yesterday. Yesterday, our main hypothesis was an open auction. We are looking for responsive selling down into the 96 to 91 area and then basing and working our way back up towards that 2907 value area high with a possible push up into the 12 or 13 as a late day probe. Equally weighted, and we talked about it yesterday because of the context, we were looking at the possibility of a gap and go day, not a range gap, a gap against the close, and we were looking for an open test drive or an open drive. That's exactly what we got. We got into Hypo 2. The main target on Hypo 2 was the 1350 with the possibility of taking out the all-time highs. We had an open drive. They pushed right up into the value area high. Saw some responsive selling stepping in there. They come back to the mid. This was probably the best trade of the day, and then move back up and break out of the IB and a push up into the scene of the crime, chop around in that area, and then push up. Now, we took out the 1750, which was the September all-time high. It's been adjusted now to the 2250, which is the December contract. We one-ticked it, had a failed auction, and then they just rotated down, put a lower high in, and then they rotated back into the prior balance and around that 12 area, and then we closed at 12 and a quarter. Settlement was 1175. So double distribution day with the LVN at 2910, which is basically a range high from Monday. And it was looking like it could be more of a trend day, and we were going to see all-time highs, but they just all kinds of absorption up in this area here, and they're just failing to the buyers were failing to get paid, and then they just kind of puked it into the close. Each day, let's take a look at the news. We did have building permits came out as a big miss month over month in August, but current account was a nice beat, and housing starts and month over month in August was a little bit better. Really didn't do much, no real movement in the market. 10 o'clock, we've got crude oil inventory. We've got ECB Draghi speaking. That could be a market mover. Of course, he's going to talk about a whole bunch of things, tariffs and Brexit, etc. I'm sure he'll have a few words for Trump as well. 10:30, crude oil inventories with all its associated. And then basically there really isn't much after that. Right now, what's driving this market seems to be headline news with Trump and tariffs, etc. Each morning, I like to start my day with a simple chart. It's a candlestick chart. I start on the monthly. Oops, where's my macro? Oh, there it is. I start on the monthly. I use a 9 EMA and a 20 SMA, what I'm doing is I'm looking for strength of trend. Do we have good slope, good separation? Is price paralleling the 9 nicely? Or are we coming down and challenging the trend with the test of the 9? Or are we seeing a possible change of trend with a break of the 20? You can see on the monthly, 14 months of one-time framing up. February violated that, but they could not get it. They tried to get below. They could not close below the 9. And now we've got the continuation pattern. And this is a very, very strong trend. And we're trading right now about 10 points off of the all-time, about 15 points off of the all-time high. Going to the weekly, you can see that we're back in an upward trend, and price is paralleling the 9. We don't challenge the trend until we get back down in the 28, 72, 73 area. Going to the daily, you can see that we're don't have a lot of slope and separation, but they are holding the 9 and the 20 again. Watch this. I'm watching the 28.98 area, but you could use the 96, 97 area, but 98 is a clear CLVN. You'll see that in just a few minutes on the bigger time frame structure. Going to the intraday, you can see that we've got a bit of a cup and handle here. We're testing the 9 right now at the 08 area. And we'll see if we get a breakdown back towards that 28.98, or if we get continuation and a move back up. Going to the 30-minute, you see that from about the European Open, we've had a steady downtrend. It's getting slope and separation right now. A retest of it will be at the 29.09 and a quarter. I'm using the 29.10 area as my over-under line. Again, you'll see why in just a minute. So let's take a look at the structure. You can see just a little bit of narrative here. We create this longer time frame balance that was balanced around an older microcomposite VPOC, or older fair price. We accept that price at 28.45. We move up. Price shifts on the shorter time frame up into the 28.63 area. Then we get the breakout, and we push up, and we put all-time highs. They rotated back down. Where do we come back to? Is where we accepted price just before the breakout, and then they buy it back up again, and we come up, and we're now creating a smaller 4-day balance that center around. Now, if you watch, if I move this, you can see. Whoops, wrong one. That the VPOC shifted slightly up, and since then, that's that absorption I was talking about in around the 13. So this is going to be an important level for us to get back above, and if we're going to make new all-time highs. I still think we're going to make some new all-time highs, but with this absorption and the shift of the VPOC and the fact that we failed to hold above the shift when it happened, we could get another rotation back down towards the microcomposite that starts from the 24th of September down here in the 94. And you can see that there is a clear LVN, a composite LVN right here at 98 and a quarter. I'm using that as my key line in the sand, and then I'm using the 29.10 area as my over-under line, because if we get above that, I'm looking for a move to test this this microcomposite VPOC up here. Still some maturing that we have to do in this auction in this area, so we might not get away from it. It depends on a lot of things in terms of news, etc. Our overnight high is 15 and a quarter. Our overnight low is 575 so far. I mean, it could change. So we basically have had an inside session testing the HVNs of the upper distribution from yesterday's double distribution and the lower distribution. Right now, we're getting a bit of a move up here. We just created a little tiny technical gap. Likely going to come back and test the 775 area on this little intra-session gap. So our 20 period full session daily average true range is running at 2069 right now. So 2905 75 plus the 2069. That takes us up to 292650 as our daily ATR upside target. And of course, that would be 292650. That would put us into new all-time highs. Off of the overnight high, our downside daily ATR target is down here at the 9450, which is just a couple ticks above that microcomposite VPOC. I'm using the 98 area as my over-under line, basically between 98 and a quarter and the low from yesterday, 97 and a quarter. And we have the microcomposite VPOC from the 913 that has shifted. It was down in the 0150. Now it shifts up, and it goes up to the 291275, which is just above yesterday's VPOC, and right in that area of where we saw that absorption yesterday. So what our overnight inventory, and talk about the overnight inventory. Overnight inventory is about 70% net short. So I am thinking that we could see some balancing and a move up into the overnight VPOC, which is at 10 and a quarter. But we are seeing a bit of a weak low here. A fair amount of volume went off down here. So, this is a good example. I was just talking about this. When you see that you get this little intraday gap, and I know it's not a true gap because you got the wick, but I'm talking about this candle. When this candle gaps up from the close and leaves a gap, okay, there's a good probability, very good probability, that you're going to come down and retest that level to close the gap. And that's what we just did on this particular candle right there. In terms, so inventory is about 70% net short. So in terms of hypotheses, again, because of where we are and because of the context, my hypo 1 and hypo 2 is going to be equally weighted like yesterday. And it's going to be similar as well, except that I'm going to put a little bit more downside bias on my hypo 1. So for hypo 1, I'm looking for an open auction in range, in value. I'm looking for a rotation up into the 10 to 13 level, and then I'm looking for responsive sellers to step in and rotate us down, okay, taking out the overnight low, chopping between the 2905 area and 2900, and then a push down into the 97 and 94, basing here, and then walking our way back up and closing somewhere in the lower distribution from yesterday. That is hypo 1. Equally weighted is hypo 2, which will be a open auction in range, a move down into the 290750 or the 2905 area. That's somewhere down here in the 2900 to 2905. I'm looking for buyers to step in and then grind us up and walk us up through the overnight high, pushing up into new all-time highs. And possibly getting as high as 2650 before falling back and closing, okay, somewhere around the September all-time high at the 1750 area. That is hypo 2. Because we're in a trend area, hypo 3 is going to be our hypo 2 from yesterday, which is going to be an open test drive or an open drive, push right up into that 15 to 17 area, chop here, and then push up and push through to break the all-time highs and push up into the 2930 area, and then likely come back and close somewhere around the 22 to 20 area. That is hypo 3. Hypo 4 is a breakdown day, a open auction in range, failure to take out the overnight high or just take it out, but find responsive sellers, rotate us down through to the 2900, chop at the 2900, and then fail and get a liquidation break and push down into this 94, chop here, and then fail again and push down into the 2880 384 area. That is hypo 4. Hypo 5, which is the alternative, is going to be another balancing day where we play ping pong between the upper and the lower distribution, and we get a 10 to 12 point range inside of the prior day with no breakout and really tight trading. So those are my main hypotheses for the ES. Going over to gold. Gold just continues to consolidate, still doing a pretty good level of holding above the 1200. Again, my main hypothesis is that this is going to release to the upside. I'm watching this 1314 area, the value area high of the micro deposit. Above that, I'm looking for a move up into the 18 level to 21 level. And then if we can get above that, I'm looking for a push up into this 33 as the next leg up. If we don't hold the 1200 and we break the 9750, I'm looking for this fractal low to get taken out at 9270, pushing down into this 8940. And if we break that, then I'm looking for the next leg down to be down into the 1150 area. That's what I'm looking at in gold. That's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.